remember, chums, a few months back, this particular lady, Whoopi Goldberg, basically said on air that she too was struggling to make ends meet as the host of The View. And the reason why she turned up for that job was simply because, well, she needed the money. Well, right. Now, a couple of months' time, 2 months' time, in fact, Whoopi's over here for a couple of live shows. Amazingly not quite sold out yet, so clearly must need the money. You get the picture. But over in America, a little bit like over here in the United Kingdom, they're having a lot of problems with their mainstream media, affectionately known now, of course, as MSM. And as we've seen with Stephen Colbert, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. As ever, let me explain. Morning, chums, lovely to see you today. Thank you so much as ever for your time. It's a funny thing, isn't it? You know, what shows, I know I've often said this to you before, but what shows do you now never ever miss? I really can't think of any, you know. I do like all of the things like Inspector Morse and Miss Marple, all of that sort of stuff, but there are also many repeated. You're not sure if you've watched them or not. There's very few that you say, yeah, I'm going to stay in for that. There are big juggernauts still over here like Strictly Come Dancing, but even that now is kind of reduced to the clips, all thanks to the wokerattery that is attached to the casting, you know. Every tick box has to be there, and as you can see every year, some contestant falls foul of it and then they get kicked out and, oh, you know, the usual stuff. Now, it's interesting to see how this is developing over in the United States. Of course, it's a country that I work in on a regular basis. But what's more interesting is the fact that, well, they're taking the lead from over here in the United Kingdom. You see, part of the problem now that they've got is literally the lack of advertisers, people willing to spend any money. And the problem that you've got when you haven't got people willing to spend money is a lot. Because things like The View, which is apparently a staple of daytime TV in America, well, the problem that they've now got there is the fact that they're also looking to do exactly what they've done over here in the United Kingdom with ITV daytime. Shows like This Morning, Lorraine, and of course our very own Loose Women. This is all thanks to the fact that certain individuals did cost the networks, George Stephanopoulos, I think he's called, millions of dollars. So consequently, they've now got to decide how they can, well, recoup some of that. And interestingly enough, behind the scenes, they're deciding whether to screen The View full time or in fact reduce it a little bit like over here to perhaps 30 weeks a year. I don't know if anybody's told Whoopi or Joy Bear, but there you go. And on top of all of that, Stephen Colbert getting the bullet, although that's a year off virtually, well, this has already sent shockwaves through late night in America. Oh yes, the likes of Jimmy Kimmel and of course Conan, things like that. The problem that you have, and this is in defense of them, I would say is 5 nights a week, very expensive. A live studio audience, you've got an orchestra, you've got a lot of production behind there. And the one thing that you haven't got is talent. And that's not being disrespectful to the host, but actually the talent that's out there in the land of entertainment. When you think about the big stars now, you know, the big movie stars, who do you truly think of? Perhaps Tom Cruise is the one remaining person. Other than that, music stars, you're not quite sure of, they don't resonate the way that they did. They can't command an audience. And so consequently, you get this usual round of people, a monologue from the host, and, you know, as I say, a fully paid orchestra, plus all the security and ushers required for all of the people at that show. Behind the scenes, NBC, CBS and of course ABC are all now looking as to ways of cost cutting. And well, unfortunately, as Stephen Colbert found out, if you're negative about something on camera, i.e. Catherine the Princess of Wales, that can also dent you an audience. He claims he was the most popular in his slot. That apparently has offended many others around him. But behind the scenes, the major networks are now considering whether they need late night at all. And that really would be a shame, because when you look at the likes of Jack Parr and of course the brilliant Letterman, and not forgetting of course the Godfather in my opinion, yes, Johnny Carson. Well, when you look at those, it would be a shame to lose that history. But is it really down to changing tastes, or really high costs? Or more importantly, as I said, truly there's zero talent out there anymore. Neil Sean in the very heart of Whitehall, London.